Alrighty, so this feels really, really weird knowing that I'm not in this teeny little itty bitty box in the corner, but it's like this big thing. Alright, so I figured it was time to make a certain little couple of comments because of messages, emails I was getting, and it's about the group project and research, sources, that kind of thing. The reason I decided to do this way is I haven't done a video lately. I'm not doing any whatchamacallits lecture videos right now because I don't have an extra one to do right now, but I wanted to still have kind of a face to the class. I am getting caught up with grading right now, but for the group stuff, one, I've had a couple of people talk to me about turning in the project. Project's not due yet. There will be something that opens when it is time. It's going to be a discussion board that you are posting it to. The directions talk about posting it. And if you look at the syllabus tells you when the group discussion or the group presentation gets presented. That is a very set time. You cannot turn it in early. If you feel you are finished right now, step back for a moment, take a week, go back and look at it. See if you can make it better. See what you can do to improve it or whatever. See if you can do anything to make it an even better presentation, because if you have time, use it. Don't make it where there's nothing but words on the presentation on each slide. If it was possible to do talk over kind of thing so you could properly present it, you could get away with a lot more. We can't do that. The reason I tell you it has to be a PowerPoint, an actual PowerPoint, is if you don't have anything embedded, what I like to try to do is set up a whole nother set where people can then just go there and click, and then they can just click through it and they don't have to download the PowerPoint. Because part of your presentation is getting people to view your presentation. If everybody has to download the thing, it's not going to work. I don't use Google Slides because some people have issues with actually accessing it. And if I go in there using my non-SGSC stuff and I click on the link and I can't get to it, then that's not good enough. If you can actually put the whole thing in a regular PowerPoint and I can post it like the lecture PowerPoints where you just, click, 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 and you're just going through it like that. If I can do that, then it makes it easier for everybody in the class to view it, and so that's why. If you have a YouTube channel and you have a link, and so it's like a video and you're doing like I normally do with the little picture in the corner, and you want to present it that way so you can actually speak, oh my gosh, I would friggin' love this. And all you would have to do is post the link, and then I would attach it as a video, because I don't think you can attach it as a video. You can look, but I don't think you can. But I can attach it as a video like I do these things, so then people can, again, just click that and go through the whole thing. Wikipedia. I was asked within the last day or so, why is Wikipedia not a valid source? So I figured I should address this. I think I did in one of the other videos, but whenever somebody asks me a question, I realize I should probably put more out there. So why is Wikipedia not a source? The best thing I can tell you for this one is it's kind of like saying the answers on Family Feud are a fact. They're not. On the game show Family Feud, it's popular opinion. They survey the people in that room, and what they say is the answer is the answer. That does not mean it is truly the answer. It's just what those people said is the answer. That's how wiki sites work. A wiki site for a game, wonderful. For walkthroughs, strategies, absolutely wonderful, because the concept is everybody involved is going there and trying to make the page better. However, if you pay attention to what's going on around you, and by around you, I'm talking the coronavirus, I'm talking vaccines, I'm talking politics, all of these things. People have very strong opinions about things, and people want to prove themselves right. And so if we just use vaccines as an example, you will have people posting all sorts of stupid crap that is not factual, has zero science base, but they wrap it up in a certain way to try to make you believe it. Think of the infomercials for the weight loss drugs. If you watch those and look at the images they put and the quotes they put, you will be convinced all it takes is you just have to take this one pill. You take this every day with, a gallon of water or whatever, and you're going to drop all the weight. If that actually worked, don't you think we wouldn't have a third of Americans being obese? I mean, seriously. So people throw in whatever they want. Wikipedia is a great jumping off point. So if you're like, I need to know more about this, and you Google it, it takes you to the Wikipedia site, just scroll down to the bottom. Seriously, scroll down to the bottom, grab some of the sources from the bottom, go there and check those sites out. The examples I always give about Wikipedia. My youngest, we had an argument, 2013, I think it was. I know it doesn't matter, but I like to try to work my brain all the time. So we had an argument. There were these things called graples. Apples, they had a certain scent. They smelled like those grape mechanical pencils, and they had a slightly different flavor. And the sticker on it was GRA with a line over it, PLE or something like that, but it was Grapple. We argued whether it was Grapple or Grapple. My youngest said it was Grapple. And I said, it's not Grapple because that would be like a grappling hook. And so that would be different. And it's Grapple because it is grape and apple. Then we were arguing, we looked at the container, saw that it had the line over the A, and I said, that makes it a long A, and so that is Grapple. He then ripped off the sticker and then went to the computer and then went to Wikipedia, typed in pronounced grapple, and then also added mostly harmless. That was actually one of the most favorite things to do, was to go to different pages on Wikipedia and say mostly harmless. Actually put in there that the earth was mostly harmless. Things like that. No one ever corrected him, ever. Never had an issue with any of that. But got banned temporarily when he went onto a site about fictional villains and said that Osama bin Laden was not fictional, because Osama bin Laden was on a list of being a fictional character, a fictional villain. And hopefully Osama bin Laden is not a fictional character and is not a fictional villain, was actually not a good person and an actual human. So when he adjusted it to actually tell the truth, that's when he got banned. What? So that already had alarm bells ringing in my head. Another example that I forgot to put in the email, when I was getting my bachelor's in philosophy, we had to actually write an entire thing about Wikipedia and how it's not a source. I had teachers who made us write it on the first page of everything, that Wikipedia is not a source, because Wikipedia oversimplifies philosophy stuff way too much, and then you end up getting the wrong answer. But the other one, the big one, had a professor, Dr. Beckler, Dr. Dave Beckler. He was a renowned specialist in something called the Amblyopsidae, which is the blind cave fish. Most of the papers published about this Amblyopsidae is from Dr. Beckler. Oh my gosh, I'm messing it up. Dr. Beckler is his name. German guy, Beckler. Wikipedia constantly says his name is Belcher. So they just take the L from here and move it over here. And he constantly corrected Wikipedia as himself to correct how to spell his name so it would be Dr. Beckler and not Dr. Belcher. And every single time he changed it, Wikipedia told him he was wrong and that his name was Belcher. So for some reason, the world of Wikipedia decided what his name was. And since more people said that his name was Belcher, Wikipedia said it had to remain Belcher because that's what everybody said. Meanwhile, this dude was like in his 70s. His last name had been Beckler his entire life. He's the one who did the research. He's the one on all the documents, all the papers, all the publications. But because everybody on Wikipedia said his name was something different, that's the fact on Wikipedia. So when you use Wikipedia, you are using what other people say is correct, not necessarily what is correct. And because of that, Wikipedia is not a valid source. But again, if you want to go to Wikipedia, go to the bottom and then just use the sources they list. Check those out, seriously. But Wikipedia, because anybody can fix it, so that's not valid. And a blog is not a valid source because that's personal opinion. And whenever you do any kind of research, and if you're in the lab, you would hopefully have already been doing this. I'm making you do a critical thinking thing and you have to prove yourself wrong. Whenever you do research, I really prefer if you try to get both sides. So if you're looking at something, we're going to use politics as an example. If you're looking at something that's posted by Republicans, also look at what Democrats say. If you're looking at something for Democrats, also look what Republicans say. Chances are each side is going to skew things to their view, and the reality is somewhere in here. I want you to find this, not this, not this, this. Environmental science, a lot of times when you're posting it in, you're going to get something from Mother News Network, MNN. They have some great information. Absolutely love a lot of what they post. However, very, very biased. Very biased. I'm aware of that. So I might get stuff from them, but then I also try to go more for the science end and look a little farther. That is when you are actually truly researching. That is when you are actually using your own brain and when you are not just straight up being manipulated. Is there false crap out there? Oh yeah. Tremendous amounts of false crap. Internet full of it. And for some reason, people fall for it all the time because if you sit there and just put a nice pretty picture, you put some letters here, people will fall for it. If you can only find something posted in one place, that's bullcrap. Like literally, that's it. That's not a fact. If no one else can verify it, then it's not real. If you find the same thing at like 8 different places, but then you look a little farther into it and all 8 places come back to one experiment, no one's ever expanded on it, that's not valid. You need it to be something that has been tested. You have to have it where it's been redone. I mean, this is part of what science is you have to have a testable and a retestable hypothesis in order to know that that's actually what happens. Because anyone who has ever made anything knows that sometimes you might not have documented every part and then it worked great, but that one little thing you left out is what made it work. If you've ever made a recipe and you accidentally put too much of something in one time and it's the best meal you've ever made, and then the next time you try to make it again and it doesn't work the same, it's because you didn't make exactly the same thing. You have to be able to repeat it. Same thing with any kind of research, any kind of news story. If only one person talks about it, no one else knows about it, it's not that they're in the know. It might be fabricated, it might be amplified, it might be exaggerated. Try to prove yourself wrong on everything. Always do it. Do not take the word of one place. Do not take the word of one person. I tell you that even about me. Just because I say something doesn't make it a fact. So if I say something and I say this is what it is, and you're like, that doesn't sound right, challenge me. Look it up. Find other sources. But when you find the other sources, double check your sources too. I would love to be educated. I will go back and forth with anybody as long as you're remotely respectful about it. Don't sit there and go, you're just wrong. Don't do that kind of crap. That's just rude. But if you say something like, I noticed that you said blah, 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 but I read here this, let me know. You might have found something I hadn't. And then I'm going to research a little farther, and then I'm going to come right back to you and say, hey, I noticed that when you sent me this, I also looked this up. Hey, you're right. Oh my gosh. Or I might say, I see you sent me this, but did you also see this? I might do a counter. I will go back and forth nonstop. I have no problem with that. I like that as long as you're being respectable. Or respectful. There you go. Also, if somebody asks a specific question, and I know this isn't the group thing anymore, this is my own little tangent, but when somebody asks a question or they're trying to make a comment about something, do not just pull something out of here to try to make them look somewhere else. Respond to the actual topic. Then you can expand. This goes also to our discussions that we're doing every 2 weeks. I haven't been on the boards commenting constantly, but I do when I'm grading these things. I read everything. I'm hoping you go to your feedback, because sometimes I actually give you feedback about something you said that I wish I had commented on previously. But yeah, discussion, actual research, understand, comprehend. Oh my gosh, that's like the biggest thing. So many people just get so used to copy paste, share that they don't actually comprehend what they're talking about. You're in college. I'm hoping you're in college because you want to educate yourself and not just because you're thinking of a future paycheck. I want you to expand your brain, expand your knowledge, expand your understanding. And the only way you can do this is to challenge yourself. Again, welcome to challenge me. If you think I'm wrong about something, tell me. Just, say, I see you said this. I am assuming it's because blah, blah, blah. But have you ever thought of it this way? I will totally go back and forth with you. You are not going to offend me. I like to discuss this type of stuff. If at any point I say something and you find it offensive, contact me. I mean, don't send me a message say, you pissed me off. Don't do that. But send me an email and say, when you said XYZ, I was a little upset because, and then tell me why it upset you. But here's the kicker. Please also read and respond to what I send you, because I will try to clarify why I said something or what I said. I don't ever want to straight up offend somebody because I'm just being ignorant, because ignorance just means you don't know any better. We are all ignorant about something. And I would rather educate people on what bothers me, and I would rather people educate me on what bothers them so I can adjust it. I am not a politically correct person. I am well aware of this, but it's because when I try to do all of the political correctness, I find I can't talk because I am too busy trying to not offend anyone on the planet. And oh my gosh, right now you offend everybody, like pretty much from breathing. I would rather try to explain what I'm trying to say, and then you can help me find a better way to say it. So instead of, if I upset you or offend you, instead of just getting mad and shutting down, talk to me, help educate me on how better to discuss things with you, because if you get upset with it, chances are someone else has been upset with it. I will use a very simple example here, and this is a personal type example. I've been tutoring this one kid through Zoom because, everything has to be through Zoom pretty much right now. But I've been tutoring this one kid for ACT and SAT stuff. And I asked him something, and he responded with, I don't know why I did so poorly. It's not like I'm autistic or something. And it kind of threw me. I just didn't know how to respond to this, because I realized he was trying to say that he wasn't dumb. But autistic does not mean dumb. And the fact that both of my kids are on the spectrum and I am on the spectrum, this kid basically just called me an idiot, not realizing he was calling me an idiot. Um, so, see, sometimes things that people say, they're not meaning to be mean, they just haven't thought it through. And when people sit there and say they heard vaccines are bad because vaccines cause autism, that is telling anyone on the spectrum that you would rather chance someone getting sick or dying rather than being like them, when in reality you're thinking, oh my gosh, it must be hard. Or that's my assumption of what you're meaning. I don't know, I don't get it. But to tell somebody to quit arguing about vaccines by saying it gives you autism, which by the way it does not, but when people say that, what they're doing is they're telling anyone with autism that they are so horrible that they would rather risk these other things than ever be like them. And again, the average person has said this at some point and they just never thought about it. So everybody has something they say that can really, really, really hurt somebody else, but they don't know it until somebody talks to them about it. So this whole thing that started off about group projects and then went on to about Wikipedia not being source morphed into, let me know if I say anything that upsets you and help educate me, because there is too much horrible crap on this planet and in this world and in this nation, and I'd rather make it a better place than a worse place. And so for me to be a better person, I need you to help me be a better person. And so please let me know. Yeah, there you go. Oh, see, it's so much better when I actually have a script or a PowerPoint to follow, because you never know where my brain goes. But, well, whatever. It's been interesting. Yeah, I think that's it. I really need my time off this weekend. I think I'm like, my brain's gone. Yeah, so hope the semester's going okay, and I'll chat with anybody whenever I can. Yeah, that's it. So bye. I'll do my again. Peace out.